Hi everyone, today's lesson involves solving multi-step equations with combining like terms by applying inverse operations. To solve multi-step equations by combining like terms, you're going to follow this checklist. The first step would be to combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. So if I look at the example below, I see that 5b and 2b are like terms. So I'm going to use the shape method, and on the side I'm going to write 5b plus 2b is equal to 7b. I'm then going to rewrite my simplified equation. 7b minus 7 is equal to 28. So I see that I have no more like terms, so I know that I combined everything that I need to. If I look at step 2, it says to solve the two-step equation. So in order to solve a two-step equation, you're going to use inverse operations and start with the constant. So since I have a minus 7, I'm going to add 7 because that's the inverse operation, and whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other. So I'm left with 7b is equal to 35. Now I have to solve the one-step equation. So far I did step 1, I did step 2. Now I'm going to do step 3. 7b represents multiplication, so the inverse of multiplication is division. I'm going to divide by 7. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other. So I'm left with b is equal to 5. So I solved my one-step equation, and the final step is to check. Now when you check your equation, you always want to substitute back into the original equation, because if you made a mistake simplifying and then you plug your answer into a wrong simplified expression, you might think your answer is correct. So I'm going to rewrite 5b plus 2b minus 7 is equal to 28. I substitute b with 5. 5 times 5 plus 2 times 5 minus 7 is equal to 28. Now I follow PEMDAS, multiplication. 25 plus 10 minus 7 is equal to 28. 35 minus 7 is equal to 28. 28 is equal to 28. That means my equation is balanced and my answer is 5. So if I look at another example, I see that I have to combine like terms on the left side of the equal sign. So again, I'm going to use my shape method. 8n plus 6n minus 2n. So on the side, 8n plus 6n minus 2n. And I know that that gives me 12n. Negative 6 and positive 12 are like terms. Negative 6 plus 12 is equal to positive 6. So now I'm going to rewrite my equation. 12n plus 6, because my 6 is positive, is equal to negative 30. Again, when I have this two-step equation, I'm always going to start with the constant and do the inverse operation. Since I have plus 6, I need to subtract 6. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. 12n is equal to negative 36. 12n represents multiplication, so the inverse of multiplication is division. I divide both sides by 12, and n is equal to negative 3. So again, when I check my answer, I want to take this negative 3 and substitute it back into my original equation. So I have 8 times negative 3 plus 6 times negative 3 minus 6 minus 2 times negative 3 plus 12 is equal to negative 30. Now again, I have to follow PEMDAS, so I'm going to start with the multiplication. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. A positive 6 times a negative 3 is a negative 18. Minus 6. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. plus 12 is equal to negative 30. And now I'm left with addition and subtraction, so I work from left to right. Negative 24 minus 18 is negative 42. I bring everything else down. Negative 42 minus 6 is negative 48. Again, I bring everything else down. Negative 48 plus 6 is negative 42. Plus 12 is negative 30. And negative 30 is equal to negative 30. So now I know that my answer was correct. So the answer to this problem is n is equal to negative 3. And I'm just going to look at one more example. This question says, find x if the perimeter of the triangle is 74. So we know that to find the perimeter of a shape, you have to add up all of the sides. However, in this case, each side length is represented by an expression. It says the perimeter is 74, so it's giving us the answer to this equation. So I'm going to set up an equation, 6x plus 5 plus 4x plus x plus 3 is equal to 74. Now I have to combine like terms, 6x plus 4x plus x, and I'll write on the side 6x plus 4x plus x, which is equal to 11x. Positive 5 and a positive 3 are like terms, which gives us 8. So 11x plus 8 is equal to 74. And now I have a two-step equation, so I'm going to start with the constant and use the inverse operation. Since it's plus 8, I'm going to minus 8. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other. 11x is equal to 66. Divide by 11. And x is equal to 6. So now I'm going to go back and check that this is correct. So I know that if I substitute in 6 for x, 6 plus 3 is 9. 4 times 6 is 24. And 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 5 is 41. And if I add these together, 41 plus 9 plus 24, I get 50 plus 24, which equals 74. And 74 is equal to 74, because that's what my original equation had to equal, so I know my answer is correct. So again, just be careful, right? When we were checking our equation, we got that 74 was equal to 74, but the answer to this problem is x is equal to 6. Remember, it asked us to find x, and the only number that would make this equation true is 6.